welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby, and today, after almost a year of being gone, I am back with my first video since 2020, and I'm going to be doing a romance recommendation video. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite tropes, which is the office/workplace romance trope. Over the last couple of years, I've really gotten into this trope, and I have 5 books here to talk about today. Like always, I'll link all of them down below, and let's get right into it. The first book I have to talk about is Inappropriate by Vi Keeland, and when I think about office romances, this is one of my absolute favorites. It's a romance between the characters Ireland and Grant. Ireland is a news reporter, and she gets wrongly fired from her job from a really misogynistic boss. And so one night she gets really drunk and writes a really hateful email to the CEO of the company that she works for, who happens to be Grant. And instead of getting angry at her, he actually decides to give her a second chance and hires her back. Lo and behold, Grant ends up developing some feelings for her and wants to be around her all the time. So even though their jobs don't really have anything to do with each other, he finds ways to spend time with Ireland. She's really sassy and confident, and Grant has a really dark past, and that comes out through the story. So this was a really great combo of funny, sexy, and emotional, and that's something I love so much about Vi's books. The next one that I have is Right Where I Want You by Jessica Hawkins. This was my first read by this author, and I really loved it. This one is definitely an enemies to lovers. Our two main characters are Sebastian and Georgina, but she goes by George. The two of them actually have like a meet-hate. They meet in a coffee shop, they have a really bad interaction, and they have no idea that the two of them are actually about to work together. So when they meet each other in the office, they are really shocked to discover it's the person they met in the coffee shop and really disliked. Sebastian is the creative director at the Modern Man magazine, and there's a lot of scandal going on at that magazine. So the CEO ends up hiring a PR person, which is Georgina, and she comes in to kind of fix up their image, and Sebastian's not happy about that at all. So the two of them definitely butt heads all the time, and it's the enemies to lovers trope that I love so much. Both of them are stubborn and hard-headed, and they both have some things from their past holding them back. And this one also was emotional, which I love about funny and steamy romances. If there's a touch of emotion, it definitely wins my heart. So if you're looking for an author that you may not have heard of, I would definitely recommend this one. The next one that I have is Falling for My Enemy by Claire Kingsley, and I love her books because they are funny and witty, and this one was no exception. Our two main characters are Corbin and Hazel, and they are both kind of nerdy characters, very smart. They work at the same college. Corbin is known for creating this quiz or test or method that is basically, if you take the test with someone else, you two will fall in love, and a lot of people have done it and had success, but Hazel does not believe that that will work, and so the two of them don't like each other because she doesn't like what he does and she doesn't support him, and they end up working together in the same department at the college, I think in the psych department, and they start playing pranks on each other, which are really funny. And there are some steamy times in the office, which I love when those are included. This one includes a copy machine, so I definitely recommend if you're looking for some steamy office scenes. And I love this one so much because the two of them are pretty nerdy. It's not the typical like alpha office hero. He's kind of a nerd on the streets and a freak in the sheets. It took a while for me to fall in love with this one, but once I did, I fell head over heels for it, and I think you guys would too. Another one that I have is Cocky Chef by J.D. Hawkins, and this is actually written by a male author, which I didn't know until I was reading it. And this one is about 2 different chefs. Their names are Willow and Cole, and Willow tried to open her own restaurant in her home state of Idaho, but it failed, and so she ended up moving to LA to try and work her way up in the restaurant business again. She ends up getting a job at one of the most prestigious restaurants in LA called Knife, and the owner of that restaurant is Cole, and within a couple of weeks of working there, she makes a total fool out of herself in front of Cole, but instead of firing her, he gives her kind of a second chance. And the two of them butt heads a lot. She has different ideas of what makes a great restaurant, what makes a great menu, and he has been really successful, so he has a lot of tried and true ways of making a successful restaurant, and they really challenge one another. And I think this was a really great example of two people who are invested in their careers and the other person supports that career. And this one has a non-traditional kind of happily ever after. It doesn't end in the traditional things that usually happen in romance. So if you're looking for something different, I would definitely recommend it. And if you like things that have to deal with food, I think you would love this one. The last one that I have is Ego Trip by Tabitha Kiss. This was my first read by this author, and I kind of just took a chance after a friend of mine named Danielle recommended it to me. And this is about 2 characters named Paige and Oliver. They both work for the same hotel company. Paige is the assistant to the company liaison, so she travels with the company liaison for audits to check out all the different hotels, and basically she assists them. But her current boss ends up becoming, I think, the CEO, so the position needs to be filled, and Oliver is the new company liaison, which is kind of a bummer for her because they used to work at the same level, and one time when she was visiting his old hotel, they ended up having a one-night stand. So now that they're traveling together across the country, it's really awkward because they've hooked up before. and it makes their relationship really uncomfortable and inappropriate. This one was so much fun. I loved the banter between Paige and Oliver. So yeah, this one definitely worked for me, and I liked that it was a little bit different and they were traveling the whole time. So those are 5 office and workplace romance recommendations I have for you guys. Let me know if you read any of these books and what your favorite office romances are. As always, I will link all of these books down below, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.